Today we're going to mix keyframe animation with Forge Dynamics. So in this little animation, I'm mixing keyframe animation with Forge Dynamics simulation, and this could be used for all sorts of animation like software as a service, intro, and so on. So let me show you how to set this up. I have a simple composition and I'm going to use just basic shape and text layers so you can follow along. Let's make it maybe radius of 50. Turn down the color so we can see it a bit better, and then make a text layer, vertically align it, font size 50, and then fill of around super bright red so we can tell what is going on, so we can see them better when they're on top of each other. So string, right click, utility, string generator. Make sure you set to value, precision 0, padding 1. Perfect. So this will be our stand-in for ellipse with an icon, essentially. Group it together, call it icon so we know what is going on. So now let's look for custom shape and put the icon inside custom shape. And I'm going to make 2 copies of it. Then let's rename them. So we've got icon random and icon circle. Essentially, we're going to use 2 different copies in 2 different duplicators, but all of them are going to be part of this group. So I have a copy of a copy of a copy, essentially. So we got icon random, icon circle. Select icon random and then put it inside Duplicator. Now, to be able to tell what is going on with our layers, I want to use the Duplicator data, the index context in our text shape. So find your text shape layer, string generator, go to number property, right click, and then utility, add index context to it. So now every single shape layer has a number. This will make it easier to visualize what is going on the screen and to essentially simulate different icons per each ellipse. So Duplicator, I'm going to use random distribution, set the count to 15 so it renders a bit quicker. Space this out on the screen a little bit, go to relax mode and then increase relax distance so none of these shapes are essentially overlapping each other. Turn it off, select icon circle, put it in another duplicator, essentially making the same setup again, but this time pick different distribution mode. I'm going with circle. We want to match the count numbers between both of them. So in this case, 15. This one needs to be 15 as well. Space out the radius a bit so they don't overlap each other. And I don't want to use rotation. I want all of them to face up. Perfect. Let's clean this up a little bit. I'm going to rename my layers. So one is called Duplicator Random with the random distribution, and second Duplicator Circle with circle distribution. Turn off the circle and let's animate Duplicator Random In. So what we can do is use Animate In, the Auto Animate option, to essentially animate our design. Right now, only the numbers are moving and fading up. The reason for this is that our duplicator is made of a shape with multiple meshes. And Auto Animate is targeting level 5, which in our case is all the way here, the numbers. We want to target everything, so we want to target level 1. Essentially, we'll target this whole thing as one mesh. So Auto Animate, custom level 1. Go to beginning, press play, and we've got a simple fade-in animation with movement. Perfect, this is what we want. You can do all sorts of animation in, but this is the quickest way in this example. We got fade up going on, bit of a distance, and we can change the timing. I'm going to make it more snappy, so animation time offset -10 and random timing mode. So all of them move randomly. You can change the interpretation of this curve to Bezier and adjust graph, but what I'm going to do is use curves plugin because this makes it a little bit quicker. So I can press play and we got much snappier animation. Rename our layers to Animate In. Perfect. So we've got our animation in, and now I want to transition this random distribution to the circle itself. So select Duplicator Random, find deformers, and then find Blend Submesh Positions. This will allow us to blend between state A to state B, essentially our duplicator circle. So drop it into the destination shape and see if it works. If it doesn't work, you might have to use different blend mode, different level mode. Remember about different levels. For example, if you have more complex designs, you have more shapes here and so on. So let's animate this. I'm going to find where my icons settle in around frame 30, make a keyframe, move up a little bit, maybe 15 frames or so, move it, blend to 100%, select, and then change the curvature of it, the whole Bezier interpolation of this curve. So let's press play, and the whole thing moves. Perfect. To make this a little bit more random, let's add the time offset. You can, for example, use stagger or random. I'm going to use random in this case and set minimum to, let's say, 0, maximum to maybe -7. Let's see how this looks. And we've got a little bit delay before these numbers settle in the place. Let's rename our layers. So we have blend submesh called morph the circle, destroy the circle distribution, and then delay the move. Perfect. So we have half of our animation done. Now I want to make this more interesting. So let's turn off the duplication random, turn on duplication circle. I'm going to actually change its color so we can tell them apart. Now duplicator circle can be animated with this travel property. Essentially, we will spin everything around this radius. So I'm going to make a keyframe at the 0%, move it, let's say, around frame 40, and then at around frame, let's say, 80, let's just spin this up a bit to maybe -60. To make this movement more interesting, because this is very static, what I'm going to do is essentially basic interpolation and make it more contrasty like this, so our animation speeds up really fast towards the end. And to be honest, let's maybe move it all the way to 100 and we can space this out a little bit more. You can activate this toolbox with this green button over here. So we have a few things. We have animation in, and then transition here, and then movement on the circle. So let's see how this works in practice. Turn on your duplication random, go to beginning, press play, the thing animate in, and start spinning. Blend submesh modifier is really cool because it allows us to essentially blend position from A to B, and it will follow this position of the duplicator circle even if it's moving. So we've got quite a complex animation done very quickly. So next step, let's turn off duplicator random, turn on duplicator circle. I want to transition this layout into Forge Dynamics, so all of these spheres will start bouncing around and bouncing into each other, essentially create chaos. So take the duplicator circle, put it inside Forge, press play, and something happens. Forge is working, but our layout is not really respecting the movement and so on. So, a few things. I'm going to turn off gravity to 0, then find where my keyframes are. So deselect all the layers, and we have animation on the circle travel happening at around frame, let's say 90, where everything speeds up. So this is where we're going to cut essentially from our circle animation to Forge Dynamic Simulation. So let's make a marker at frame 90 with Command-Shift-8 on Mac. So this is our cutting point. Find your Forge Dynamics and position it, let's say here with the left bracket. I can move my layer. By using marker, we can grab this frame data and drop it at the start frame. So if I turn on the circle, the duplicator circle, let's change the colors a little bit because it's getting confusing. So my duplicator circle is green, press play. We've got the initial animation and Forge Dynamics kicks in at some point. We know that things are working because Forge Dynamics is positioned exactly where our essentially circle stops spinning. So hide the circle so it's not confusing. Then select Forge. And we want to add some noise, some movement, some spin to this. So we can use fields. You can use any fields you want. I'm going to use Vortex Field because I want my animation to kind of spin in the circular motion and then bounce into each other. So Vortex Field will let me do this. We got number of controllers and we got radius and spiral strength and so on. So let me add a little bit of noise to this. I'm going to essentially link X to Y and then invert it. Maybe make it slightly bigger. Noise strength should affect the spiral strength. So let's press play and see what's happening. And we've got some movement. The guys are pushing against each other and so on. Perfect. But things are a little bit sluggish. They're a little bit slow. So rather than bumping up our spiral strength of everything, it's easier if we actually change how heavy the bodies are. All the bodies in Forge have different properties like bounce, density, and so on. So density 10, let's think about it as 10 kilos. If I change it to 1 kilogram, it will be easier for our forces to move something which is 1 kilo versus 10 kilos. So go back to before the Forge kicks in, press play, and now things are more enthusiastic. Perfect. So feel free to play with the values until you're happy. I'm going to increase the radius strength, bump up maybe the century petal strength, which means that Forge will push everything in and then try to spin it rather than pushing things out so they will end up in the corners. So play with the values until you're happy. And this is way too quick, so I'm going to change the spiral strength to maybe 20 and 20 on century petal. Because remember, these shapes are now much lighter, so the forces will affect them much quicker, and this is what we want. So we're nearly there. We have a few things. We've got our basic duplicator, we've got circle and Forge Dynamics. Now we have to combine all of them together, and it's super easy. Turn off your Forge, turn on duplicator random. We've got animation in and spin, and it stops. So once it stops moving, it's time to transition to another movement. Essentially, you want to transition this position to Forge Dynamics position. Hide Forge Dynamics, duplicator random, another deformer, blend submesh positions. And what we need to do is simple grab Forge Dynamics and drop it into destination shape. Let's see if this is working, and it's working perfectly. So keyframe, another keyframe at 100, and remember our Forge Dynamics kicks in at around frame 90, so I would say at around 100 we should have full strength of the simulation going on. So let's maybe space out those frames as much as we need to, and right click, basic interpretation. The basic one will do just fine. Let's see how this will work in practice. Press play, animation in, and then slowly start spinning and gets crazy. And the best part about this, if you think this is not looking good, you can always go back to Vortex Field and let's say reduce the centripetal strength maybe to 5 and change the noise to 100. Go back, press play, and now it works as follows. Essentially, we can maybe even delay the whole transition between Duplicator random, circle, and forge to around frame 100. And let's see how this looks. And for some reason, it stops. Now, the keyframe position is a little bit wrong. Let's deselect everything. Click on the keyframe preview. Remember, this Duplicator circle keyframes, this is where they stop. So we have to transition from this mode to Forge Dynamics rather than afterwards. So if I push those keyframes forward, maybe change them as follows, and let's extend this a little bit to something like here. We will essentially transition from random distribution here to circle distribution at this stage, and then once the forge kicks in, we should be able to transition to forge distribution much smoothly before our spinning circle stops spinning. So let's see how this works in practice. Press play, animation in, we start spinning, and then we transition to forge. So it's all about playing with the keyframes, adjusting when one transition happens and when the other one begins. And finally, I'm going to rename the blend submesh positions to move to forge simulation. So hopefully that was easy enough to follow, and now you get idea how you can use blend submesh position to blend between different states and even simulations. Thanks for watching.